I'm still gonna watch. Just close your eyes and plug your ears. No, I'm still gonna watch.
I believe I can fly.
See, I think this
I
one is
believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe
Michael? What are you doing out here, son? It's after midnight.
Couldn't sleep, Pops.
Well, neither can we with all that noise you're making. Come on, let's go inside.
Just one more shot?
All right. Just one.
Yeah.
That's good. Shoot it again. Getting pretty good, son. Go ahead, shoot till you miss.
You think if I get good enough, I can go to college?
Hey. You get good enough, you can do anything you want to, Michael.
I want to play at North Carolina.
Now, that's a real fine school. Real fine school. You can get a first-class education there.
I want to play on a championship team. Then I want to play in the NBA.
All right, listen. Slow down, son. Should they gotta get a little sleep first?
And once I've done all that,
Uh-huh.
I want to play baseball, just like you, Dad.
Baseball. Yeah, now that's a sport. When you finish with that, I suppose you're gonna fly, huh?
Let's get out of here, Dad. This stinks. Don't bring me here anymore, right? Don't bring me here anymore, right?
Are you listening? Did you hear him? Did you hear him? That little brat is right. I've told you, if I've told you once, I told you 1,000 times. We need new attractions.
Right?
New ones.
Uh-huh.
Get it?
Big shiny new things. Absolutely, sir.
Well, welcome to At the Movies Week 2. I am excited all you guys are here. Man, this is one of my favorite series I think that we do in general. First off, that is last week, Josh, if you want to do the other one. There you go, right there. Last week we did talk about Endgame. We connected how Endgame relates to the Bible and how the Bible scripture, man, it can speak through movies. And real quick, as tonight is kind of sports themed and kind of sports geared, it reminds me that as school begins, if you guys are in a sport, a play, a club, anything that might have a performance, anything like that, man, we would love to come support you. But we can't support you unless we know when you guys have your event. So if you are a part of anything, whether you're in season right now or you're going to be in season, if you would send us your schedule on Instagram, or you can bring a copy and paper to the church with you one week. All the time when I was growing up, and I really hated it then, but now I look back and I realize how true it was. So maybe your parents say the same thing, and I want you to hear it real quick. It says, show me your friends and I'll show you your what? Anybody know it? Your future. Show me your friends. Show me who you hang out with. Show me who you spend your time with. Show me how you relate to people, right? Those people who are the closest to you, and I will show you your future. The reality is that who you spend time around will dictate your path. They'll dictate your outcome. And I look at my friends that I hung out with in high school and the path that they were going down. Man, they if I'm honest, didn't really make much out of their lives. They're still kind of in that same exact situation at 30 years old as they were in high school. And that's the people that I was hanging around. And had I not made the decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to be in this group anymore. I'm not going to be in this crowd. I might have been in that same place. You see, for the Nerdlucks, they had a choice. They could follow Mr. Squawkhammer and listen to him and go down this path. And because they went down this path, they turned into monsters. The decisions and the words that he said to them ultimately drove them to a path of destruction. And I think some of you in here tonight need to begin to evaluate your life. Is the things that you're listening to, is the people that you're allowing to influence you, leading you down a path to become somebody that you never want to be? Is it leading you down a path to become a monster? You see, in our pursuit to be great, because we all want to be great, we all want to make something out of our life, but in our pursuit to be great, do we lose ourselves? Are you losing yourself trying to make something for your life? Because if you are, then I venture to say you're going down the wrong path. I want to look at a story tonight. It's a story that you may not be familiar with, but it's the story of Esther, right? The story of Esther. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe you're not. But to set the scene of what we're about to read in just a second, King Xerxes has thrown this party with all of his noble people and all of his friends, right? And here they are at a point in the night where, if I could just be honest, they're at the point in the night where when they wake up in the morning, they probably won't remember what happened. Or if they do remember what happened, they wish that they didn't make those decisions. This is where they are in this moment. They're super drunk. They're super out of it. And King Xerxes in Esther chapter 1, verse 11 through 12 says this right here. He says, "Bring Queen Vashti, his wife, before me, wearing her royal crown, for me to display her beauty to all the people and officials. For she is beautiful to behold." Queen Vashti, however, it says, refused to come at the king's command. And at this, the king became furious and burned with anger. You see, in this moment, Queen Vashti is in a position of greatness, at a position of status. She knew that if she didn't listen to this king's command, that she could jeopardize everything, that she would lose it all. But she decided that, hey, you know what? My reputation is way more important than my current status. My reputation, my identity, who I am, is way more important than what my husband desires for me right now. He wants to flaunt me around and show me off and turn me into this sexual object for all of his friends to see and look at. Instead, I'm going to remain true to myself. I'm going to remain true to who God created me to be. And you see, because of that, because she made this decision, it cost her everything. It cost her her queenship. It cost her position in the house of the king. It cost her all of this stuff. You see, but the reality is for many of us, who we surround ourselves with, who we allow to influence us, who we allow to make decisions for us, to say, hey, you should do this, or you should live like this, or you should come here and do this with me. If we allow the wrong people into our life, we too can go down the wrong path. We must remain true to ourselves even in the pursuit of greatness. We need the right people around us. And this is just what the Toons are about to find out. They find out in this next clip that they need the correct people in their community, in their squad, to make the difference. Check it out.
You see, these aliens come from outer space and they want to make us slaves in their theme park. What do we care? They're little, so we challenge them to a basketball game. But then they show up and they ain't so little. They're huge! We need to beat these guys, because they're talking about slavery. They're gonna make us do stand-up comedy, the same jokes every night for all eternity. We're gonna be locked up like wild animals and then trotted out to perform for a bunch of lowbrow, bug-eyed, fat-headed, uber-challenged aliens. What I'm trying to say is, we need your help!
Yeah, but I'm a baseball player now.
Right. And I'm a Shakespearean actor.
You're doing it! You're becoming mighty!
Come on, guys. No time, no game.
What are you doing here?
I gotta take you back. You got baseball practice.
I can't. I'm helping my friends in their basketball game.
Michael, you know that your friends are cartoon characters?
Yeah, so?
Doesn't bother you, doesn't bother me. Let me help. I can help. Let me help. What can you do? I may not be very tall, but I'm slow and large.
And a dork.
I'll do anything, Michael. Anything. Anything.
Sit right.
You know, if somebody gets injured, we can see a lot of minutes.
I'm a cheerleader.
You see, the Toons were up against a big challenge. They made this bet with the monsters when they were like the little tiny people, and they said, yeah, we'll beat you at this game, and the losers will become like captive to others, they'll be slaves to others, but then all of a sudden, this enemy that they were up against transformed into something that they never thought. And you see, the reality it hit me this week is that I think many of us in this room, like, we enter different situations, we enter sinful acts or different places that we know we're not supposed to be in with this idea of like, it's just this much. It's just this big. And before we know it, it transforms into this big giant monster in our life that we're saying, how can I come against this? How can I overcome this obstacle? How can I defeat this foe? And the reality is that in order to defeat it, we need people in our life. We need people to surround us, to help us on this journey, to help us in this battle that we're facing. Even the people that might be annoying, like Michael's friend. You see, he went through Michael falls through the golf hole and he chases in after him, right? He goes into scary, unknown situations to chase after his friend. And maybe some of you here, man, there's a friend in your life. There's somebody in your life that you're like, man, that person's weird. Like, I don't know why they're here. But maybe that's the person that you need in your life. I don't know what it is, but man, God places people all around us for different reasons and different purposes. And we have to be careful of who we allow on our team, of who we allow in our squad. You see, maybe you're here tonight and you're thinking like, man, like I can't admit what my monster is. I can't tell anybody what my monster that I'm facing is. Like, I can't bring anybody in because if they knew, then they wouldn't view me the same way. If they knew the things that I was up against, then what would they say about me? What would they think about me? How would my parents treat me if I ever told them that I struggle in this area? And because of it, we conceal and we try to go about this battle on our own. You see, later on in the story of Esther, Queen Vashti has been kind of released from her position as queen, and the king sends out his servants and says, hey, bring me all of the eligible women in the city. I want to choose my next queen. I want to choose my next wife. And so here comes a lady by the name of Esther. Now, Esther wasn't the same nationality as everybody else. In fact, she was Jewish. Her parents had died at a young age, and a guy named Mordecai had taken her in and raised her in his family. So the king had no idea that she was of Jewish heritage. And this thing in Esther's life, while it is a minor thing, right? She kept it hidden. She kept it concealed. Her nationality, she didn't want anybody to know. Why? Because she was afraid of what they might say, of how they might treat her, of what they might think if they knew the true her. If people knew the true you, the you when nobody else is looking, what would they say about it? What would they think about it? The reality is, for many of us, we'd be scared for people to know everything about us because there's things that we keep close to us. We keep things close to us and don't let anybody know. But we have to be true to ourselves. Esther was living in fear of consequences, fear of rejection, and fear of the unknown. There came a day, and it says in Esther 3:13 that the king made this decree. And the decree said this, it says, I will kill, destroy, and annihilate all Jewish men, women, and children. This is what the king said. Now, Esther, remember, is Jewish. She at this time has been chosen to be the queen. She is living in the king's palace. And he says, I'm going to kill, destroy, and annihilate all Jewish men, women, and children. In Esther 4:14, we find a key piece of scripture that I want you to take with you when you leave here tonight. It says this right here. It It says, "For if I remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will rise from another place. But for you and your family, you will perish. You have come to your royal position for such a time as this." You see, the reality for us is we have to step up to do what God has called us to do. We have to be true to ourselves. We have to embrace our true identity. We can't let our monsters, our fear, our consequences, whatever it might be, hold us back from what God has called us to do. The first part of that is important because it says that if you don't do it, Esther, the relief for the Jews will come from somewhere else, and you and your family will perish. I want you guys to know this tonight. The thing that you deal with, the thing that you think, man, it's not that big of a deal, it's only affecting me. It doesn't matter what I look at online. It doesn't matter how I talk. It doesn't matter how I think. It doesn't matter any of those secret sins that I do because it's just affecting me. The reality is it's not just affecting you. Everybody else around you perishes when you choose willingly to continue to live in sin. When you continue to hide it, can keep it in, to conceal it, and to contain it, trying to think, man, I can take care of it myself. Everybody around you begins to hurt in that process. It may come out in you getting angry at your parents. It may come out in you lashing out at different times. But the people around you suffer. Esther, if she would have not made this decision, it says, you and your family will perish. You see, failure and react can result in pain for those who are closest to you. The Bible has a lot to say about this idea of transparency, this idea of accountability. And I've talked about it a lot before, but I think it's so important. Proverbs 27:17 says this. It says, "For as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another." Meaning, you need to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who are going to encourage you, who are going to help you. Titus 2:3-4 says, "Older women likewise are to be reverent in behavior. They are to teach what is good and remain and so train young women." Meaning, the people older than us, people with more experience than us, man, they have this responsibility to invest into us. So it's our responsibility to get close to them so they can. James 5:16 says, "Therefore, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. For the prayer of a righteous person has great power and is at work." Your secrets have the ability to make you or break you. What you keep contained will either set you up for a position of greatness or it will ultimately destroy you. My big point tonight is this: greatness is not about eliminating your weakness, but admitting that you have one. If you want to be great in life, if you want to make something out of yourself, if you want to reach a certain level, it's not about saying, man, I don't have any weakness. It's all about saying, man, this is my weakness. This is who I am. This is where I'm short. And then surrounding yourself with people who are going to continue to lift you up, to encourage you. Esther 4:15-16, the story continues and it says this: "Then Esther sent a reply to Mordecai. It says, 'Go gather all the Jews and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days and nights, and me and my attendants will also fast. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.'" This is important because had Esther not had somebody around her that she trusted, then she wouldn't have people there to pray for her, to come alongside of her in this difficult time. She, at this moment, is deciding, you know what, I'm going to go to the king. I'm going to do what God has called me to do. I'm going to step up and say, hey, what your decree is to kill all the Jews, it's wrong. I'm Jewish myself. You need to love these people. You need to change your mind. You need to allow them to co-live with us here. She's going to go to the king and beg for their life. And it's against the law at that time for anybody to approach the king with any kind of suggestion unless he asks for it. And so she goes to her friends, she goes to her family, the people that is around her, and she says, I need your help. I need you to pray for me. I need you to fast with me. What is the thing in your life that you need prayer for? And do you have people around you that you can go to and ask for prayer? If we want to be great, we have to be willing to discover the secret to greatness. The tunes are about to discover the secret for greatness. Check it out.
I think we should quit.
Yeah. Listen, I I didn't get dragged down here just to get my butt whipped by a bunch of ugly monsters. I ain't going out like that. We're letting them push us around. We gotta fight them back. We gotta take it to them. We gotta get right in their faces. And what do you say? Are you with me or not?
Finished? Great speech and all, Doc. You had him riveted. But didn't you forget something?
What?
Your secret stuff. Wow. Whoa. Nice deltoid. Play along. Stop hogging it, Mike. We're your teammates. Secret stuff. Secret stuff?
You wouldn't hold out on us, would you? No, I mean, I don't think you guys really needed it. I mean, you're so tough. You're competitive.
We're also chickens, huh? We need it back.
I'd like something.
You know, this goes against everything they taught me in health class.
You want to win or not?
Bottoms up. Yummy.
How about we go out and kick some alien butt, huh? Let's go. How about it, huh? Ready?
See, I think some of us in here tonight with this idea that we need something in our lives to make us better. We need something there to kind of, like, if we could just fill in our gaps and if our missing parts with something, then everything would fall into place for us. If we could just change blank about ourselves, then everything would be different. You see, the reality is that oftentimes we try to fill a cross-shaped hole with so many different things. We try to fill it with addictions. We try to fill it with kind of hiding away in isolation. We try to fill it with schoolwork and things that aren't always necessarily bad. You see, the Toons found out in this scene that what they thought that they took was the secret stuff, but everything that they needed was already inside of them. You see, God's given you everything you need in order to defeat the things that you're up against. But the thing that you need more than anything else, the only thing that you need, the only thing that is going to bring you victory is a relationship with Jesus. For every battle that you're facing, for everything that you're going through, for every monster that's in front of you, the only thing that can truly make the difference is a relationship with Jesus. Is having him on your team, of saying yes to joining his squad, of being a part of a relationship with him. Remember, greatness is not about eliminating your weakness, but admitting that you have a weakness. Saying, Jesus, I need you in these areas. I'm weak in these areas, and I can't do it on my own. Yes, it's important, like I said, to have people around you, but it's way more important to have Jesus around you. I know the reality is this night that many of you are sitting here in this room, And Thomas, if you want to come up and begin to close. Many of you are sitting here in this room tonight saying, you don't know my weakness. You don't know what it is that I'm going through. You don't know what it is that I deal with, what I struggle with. You don't know how many times I've messed up. You don't know my home life. You don't know my backstory. You don't know me. And while I may not know every single detail about you guys, I know somebody who does. You see, Jesus knows everything about you. He knows who you are. He knows who you are when nobody else is looking, the decisions that you make. And regardless of those decisions, and regardless of what he knows about you, the things that you think are unlovable, he says, I love you. I chose you. I value you. I want a relationship with you. But Austin, you don't understand. Like, I started off with this habit so many years ago, and it's grown into something that I could never put into words. Like, I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to look to. Like, you don't understand, like, when I lay down in my bed at night, I struggle to love myself. I struggle to look in the mirror and to value who I'm created to be. You don't understand, like, I'm so scared to step out. I'm so scared to make decisions because I feel like I'm going to let somebody down. You don't understand what I'm going through. You don't understand the monsters I'm facing. You see, Revelation 22:13 says this. It says, I am the Alpha Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. The Alpha and the Omega is Greek for this right here, A to Z. It's Greek for A to Z, which means Jesus is greater than everything. You see, we talked about greatness at the beginning of what is the greatness. Josh, can you put up the very last slide real quick? Jesus is greater than everything. It doesn't matter what, who, anything that you put in that blank. Jesus is greater. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning to the end. I know it's been a while since we all learned our ABCs, but you think you remember them?
Yeah.
Cool, good. If not, that's okay. What's the first one? A. Jesus is greater than your addiction. What's the next one? A. B. Jesus is greater than your brokenness. Josh, you can throw them up before I'm ready. It's all right. What's the next letter? C. Jesus is greater than your condemnation. What's next? D. Jesus is greater than your doubt. Jesus is greater than your defeats. The areas that you have fallen short, Jesus is greater than those. What's next? Come on, what is it? You say it with confidence. It's all right. Jesus is greater than your errors. Jesus is greater than your envy. What's next? F. Jesus is greater than your fear. What's next? G. Jesus is greater than your grave. In those areas in your life where you feel dead, where you feel like, man, that it's the end. There's nothing left for me to give. It's all over. Jesus is greater than that. He can bring life back into those relationships. He can bring life back into those scenarios. What's next? H. Jesus is greater than your habits. He's greater than your hurts. He's greater than your haters. Those people that stab you in the back, that hurt you, that turn their back on you. Jesus is greater than them. What's next? I. Jesus is greater than your idiotic decisions. Let's just be honest. We all make bad decisions, and Jesus is greater than those. What's next? J. Jesus is greater than your jealousy. What's next? K. Jesus is greater than your knockdown. What's next? Jesus is greater than your loss. Jesus is greater than what you've lost. What's next? We're struggling a little bit. It's all right. Jesus is greater than your mistakes. What's next? And your negativity is greater than those things that you put yourself down over. What's next? Oh, he's greater than your opposition. The things that you're facing tonight, he's greater than that. What's next? Jesus is greater than your pride, your past, your problems, your pain. Jesus is greater than all of those things. What's next? Q. Jesus is greater than your quit. Listen to me. There's some of you in here tonight who you've quit on your dreams. You've quit on your aspirations, the thing that God has called you to. Maybe there's some of you in here tonight that are debating quitting on everything. Jesus is greater than your quit. There's more in store for you. What's next? Jesus is greater than your regret. He's greater than your rejection. What's next? S. He's greater than your sin. The areas that you fall short, that you mess up, Jesus is greater than your sin. What's next? There it is. He's greater than your transgressions. He's greater than your trials. What's next? You, excuse me. Jesus is greater than the unknown. The things that you aren't sure of. The next steps. He's greater than that. What's next? He's greater than the victims, the victimized. He's greater than the hurts that you experience. What's next? W. Jesus is greater than the wrongs in your life. What's next? This one's real. Jesus is greater than your X-rated thought life. The things that you think about, that you wish you wouldn't think about, the things that you go to, those decisions, those things that are in your head, Jesus is greater than that. What's next? Why? He's greater than your youthful inexperience, the things that you don't know, the things that you're totally naive of. Jesus is greater than that. And what's last? Z. Jesus is greater than your zeal to rebel. Listen, it doesn't matter what you're up against. Jesus is greater. It doesn't matter what you put in that blank. Jesus is greater. All of us fall short. All of us mess up. But Jesus is greater. You want to be great? Greatness is not about not having any weakness, but it's admitting that you need help. All of this room, if we could stand real quick. Got two questions tonight. If you're in here, every head bowed, every eye closed. If you're in here and you have never made that decision, taken that opportunity to accept Jesus' offer to be on your squad, to be a part of his squad, to accept him into your life, to live for him. If you've never made that decision, you would say tonight, I want to make that decision. I want to live for Jesus. I'm tired of the ways that I've been living, and I'm ready to make tonight a fresh start, a new start. With no one looking around, every head bowed, every eye closed, would you just raise your hand real quick? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, 4. Yes, come on. 5, 6. Yes, thank you. Can we repeat this prayer together? Dear Jesus. Come on, everybody together. Dear Jesus, I thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. I choose today to live for you. Make me new. Wash me clean. Help me with my weaknesses. Let me walk in step with your Spirit. Forgive me of all I've done. Second group I want to talk to is if you're in here tonight. Man, there's things that are in your life that you have kept hidden, that you've never told anybody about. There's monsters that you're facing. There's things that you're up against. There's things that, man, you would put in that blank and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to overcome it. But I need help. I need help tonight. If that's you and you would say, tonight, I'm going to make Jesus greater than anything. I'm not going to let my past define me, my doubts define me, my failures define me. I'm not going to let my quit define me, but I'm going to let Jesus define me. I'm going to let him step in to begin to make me great. I'm going to admit tonight that I have a weakness that I'm struggling with. And I'm going to allow him to begin to walk with me. If that's you, I'm going to ask you to do something in just a second. That may feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's all right. Listen, we all have weaknesses. We all have struggles. But if you're here and you say tonight Tonight, I'm going to allow Jesus to make the difference in my life. I'm tired. I'm tired of giving into that same habit. I'm tired of giving into that same mindset. I'm tired of going back to those same old ways. I'm tired of living in fear of what would people think about me if they knew. And I'm ready to step out and say, you know what? This is who I am. This is who God has called me to be. And I'm going to accept His calling on my life. I'm going to let Him bring my identity. Then what I want you to do is I want you to step out of your seats in just a second. I want you to find a place up here.